letters and what they've done at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater and beyond, which is just, it's so tailor-made for these two.
Yes.
It is just what you said, when you're doing what you know you should be doing. I can't think of two people that could do this better than our honored guests today. We start with someone that I knew for a while, and by pure chance and circumstance, 20-some years ago, my wife and I moved into a house in Eden Prairie, and we were going out for a walk, and it turned out 3 doors down, Nancy Nelson lived, just by chance. And I worked with her husband, Bill Carlson, so I knew Bill lived in Eden Prairie. I didn't realize that we would become neighbors. And Nancy had these, not only is Nancy and Bill wonderful people, as you know, but they were great caregivers to their parents. Each one had a parent still living, and they allowed them to live at their house and made sure that they could give them the best that they could give them. So you guys think you know Nancy and Don. I'm going to tell you some things you don't know about them, because it all starts right here, just why we're here today, the 30-Day Foundation. And I had a young daughter at that time that would walk down, and she would ring the doorbell, and Nancy would answer it because she wanted to visit Nancy's dogs. Yeah, and Nancy would bring her in, and you know, if you know Nancy, you know, and she'd offer her a cookie, and we were just telling, my daughter would say, yes, I would like that, but I have peanut allergies, so if there's peanuts in it, I can't eat it. She was about 4 years old, and Nancy would always take care of her. That's the kind of person that she is. Talented, my gosh. She was on the stage in high school, breaking barriers at the time, and doing all these great things in broadcasting. Eventually, she met Bill, who was a wonderful colleague and friend to so many of us. I'll never forget, Don won't either, the night that Bill passed at WCCR TV, and we got the word, and all these people just showed up at the station. People that weren't working, people that were off their shift, they just came to the station because they wanted to grieve together because of what he meant to everybody. Nobody had to say a word, nobody had to tell somebody to come in. We just wanted to be together because we wanted to grieve for Nancy and Bill, the kind of people that they are. The 30-Day Foundation. Perfect for Nancy Nelson because she cares about other people. We could talk all day about the things she's done in her career. We know that. But she's got a heart bigger than Mancini's in West 7th Street. And that's why we honor her today. Everything else is an outcome of who she is as a person. And she leads with her heart every day. We're honored to honor you. Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Nelson. Yeah.
It says the 30 Days Foundation, a charity, Legends Luncheon, honoring Twin Cities and Minnesota media legend Nancy Nelson. The honor is mine. Look at you. I'm in a room with people who care. It doesn't get any better than that. You care because you know someone out there who doesn't have a name to you or a face to you needs some help. And all you want to do is say, let me help. I mean, what an extraordinary thing you're doing. I'm so pleased to be here with you today. Mike, thank you for the kind words. I've had a wonderful life. It's been so blessed. And most special because I was born to Willis and Florence Nelson. And then I married Billy Carlson. And they built me, and they made me, and they gave me all of the things that mattered to me and that have allowed me to just participate with some effect in this community. I'm just so grateful. I don't know what else to say. Max, help me.
You're doing great.
You're fine. Yeah.
There's my voice over there. Let me tell you something about Don Shelby. I've known Don since he came to WCCO in 1978. And of course, he took WCCO in the Twin Cities by storm. And Billy and he were in the newsroom together every day all of those decades. And as he is to everyone, Don became a friend. You referred to the night that Billy finally couldn't stay any longer. Don was one of the first through the door, and Don did Billy's eulogy. And as we come forward, and now occasionally we're on stage at Chanhassen Dinner Theaters doing love letters, I just look over at my friend. He's kind of cradled me all these years and helped hold me up. And Don is bigger than life. It only takes you a few seconds of talking to him when you realize that. There is nothing he can't do, and nothing he hasn't done, and nothing he doesn't intend to do. But underneath all of that, I'm Don Shelby, and there is that I'm Don Shelby. There is a man of such decency and integrity. And to be included on a day like this, standing next to him, is the ultimate honor. And then Mick. Everybody knows you because of your remarkable stage presence. Most people don't know in depth what you do with this. And you've been doing it for 15 years. And it's a job. And nobody pays you. But you do it because you really do want to make a difference in the world. And you do. That's an extraordinary thing. Most of us get up every morning and we just hope to get through the day. And then every now and then, somebody comes along who makes a difference in the world. And Mick Sterling is one of those. Would you like me to sit down now? Don, what do we do? Well, Don gets his turn. The clock is ticking. We'll do what I'll do for a second, yes, what we do at Chanhassen Dinner Theaters when we come out after the show and sit and chat with everybody for a few minutes. And by the way, with our age, I always tell them, I know you're just here to see if Don and I are still ambulatory. I'll answer any question you'd like to ask. Maybe you just don't have any, and that's okay, I'll sit down. But is there anything anybody wants to ask?
When you perform again?
Oh, right. Don and I, since 2022, have dropped in for 3-week spurts at Chanhassen Dinner Theaters. We just concluded our 6th run in Love Letters, and we're back in February. Sweet show.
Yeah.
The man who wrote it was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize. It's just 2 people, Don and me. We join them when they're very young, they're kids, and they start writing to each other. And then we spend a lifetime with them as they write to one another for 50 years. And it's exactly what you would expect, 50 years of anybody's life. It's a roller coaster. You laugh, you cry, and then every night, curtain call comes and I get to go over and hold hands with Don Shelby for a minute. What a deal, huh? Anything else? No? I know, it's time to sit down. I'm honored. Thank you so much. Thank you. These faces I've known for decades, and it's so nice to have an honor, but it's no more deserved than so many of the people in this room. And I just consider myself blessed to be a part of this community. Mick, thank you for today, and thank you for giving and caring. Thanks for being here. Thank you. They have to help me down.
Not much, we don't.
Protecting the talent here.
Our next honored guest. In 1986, almost 40 years ago, I walked into the newsroom at WCCO TV as an intern and knew nothing about nothing. And I remember sitting down there in that first day, first couple days, first week, and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm just observing things, and Don Shelby and Pat Miles go on the set and they do what they call promotions or the teases for what's coming up later that day. And I remember watching it. And I mean, it was lights, action, camera. It was people dressing up in good clothes, and there was deadlines, and there was adrenaline. And I remember after a week of watching that saying, I gotta get into this somehow. And Don was just perfectly dressed. He was the ultimate anchor. He was the ultimate journalist. And we became friends not because of the newsroom, because we loved basketball, and we played basketball once a week. A whole group from WCCO TV, 11 o'clock at night after 10 o'clock news for years. We'd go find a gym and play until 1 o'clock in the morning. And that's where I bonded with Don. And I'll never forget, because I wanted to be like him. He was my mentor. And I wanted to impress him so bad. And it was like a dad in the business. I wanted to prove to him that I could do this. And I remember as my career went along, years later, one day I walked in and I had a Hart Schaffner Marx suit. And I walked over to Don, because Don was so impeccably dressed all the time. And I said, "What do you think of this? It's got the stripes, it's got this." And Don said, "That's really nice." He said, "Come here." And his suit coat was over his chair. He says, "But when you really make it," and he held up the suit coat. And he opened it up. And it was a purple lining. It wasn't Hart Schaffner Marx, it was made for Don Shelby.
Yeah.
And he says, "Check out the lining." And the purple lining went with his purple tie. That's how tight he was. So today, when I found out I was doing this months ago, I have specially tailored for Mike Max. Purple goes with the tie. And I did one more, Don. That's purple facing on the wall.
Yeah.
To say, like Nancy, to describe him as his accomplishments as a journalist, as an anchor, you're shortchanging him. You think you know him because you watched him on the news, you watched him perform. You think you know him. You didn't get in on the best of Don Shelby. I can guarantee you that. This is a real man that has lived a real life. He's seen the ups and downs. He's come out on the other side. He's come out a better person every time. He has mentored me. He is my 30-day foundation in my journalism career, because he can tell you stories about when I didn't know if I was going to make it. And he was there to bring me up. He is so much more than a colleague that I worked with on radio and TV. He is so much more than a mentor. He is a friend. And no matter what I do, I know he still loves me. He is the ultimate friend. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been blessed to have him publicly, and many of us have been blessed to have him privately, because there is only one, and he's the best in my life, Don Shelby.
It's not often you would find me speechless. That was the most meaningful thing anyone's ever said to me. I love you, Maxie. Really, I'd do anything for you. Nick, thank you for the DaysFoundation. You are not just one of the great entertainers in the country, but the work you have done here tells you you're a special human being. You were always a singing hero. Now your heart displays that you're a hero in the full sense. Thank you for everything you do. And to my good friend, my colleague, my wife, Barbara, would understand when I said she's the love of my life. But Barbara knows I come home to her. 47 years. 47 years together. Through thick and thin. And now we're in the thick part. We've waited a long time. Meg, John, 30 Days Foundation people, I wanted to also mention this. It may have slipped your mind, and some of you may not know it. But 45 years, 6 months ago, I needed you. I'm 45 years sober. And on no safety nets, when I was, I tried to defy any kind of treatment because I always had an excuse. Who's going to pay the bills? I can't take off work. I can't stop. I can't do these things. I can't take the time. I can't face the embarrassment. I can't. That's what I did. And in fact, for the period of time that I was in recovery, in treatment, Barbara and the girls ran out of money. Checks weren't coming. And they canceled our checkbooks. So we couldn't pay bills. Had no savings. So the people for whom you do this work, they're me. They're all of us. We are just one step away from being in their position. And so if our hearts go out, it goes out to you. So God bless you for what you're doing. Because 45 years later, I can tell you this. That is torture. That's living a life of daily, minute by minute torture. And what you're doing is providing them happiness, which I never thought existed. But now it does. So this is a very meaningful moment of not recognition for a career, but a recognition of a part of my heart that is involved in mankind. A part of my heart that wants other people to have what I have. So thank you for making that possible. Thank you, and John, and all the board members. Didn't know exactly what I was going to say here today. And Nancy said, I don't know what should I say next. She did a pretty good job after she said that. I can just say I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have Mick as a friend. I'm blessed to have known Maxie for all of these years and watched him grow. And now he's in the firmament. He's a star in the firmament. first day he walked into that college class I was teaching on journalism, going over Hamlet, doubtful. I don't know if I can make it to a small town. I only know how to play basketball. I know how to play baseball. I only know how to play football and 5 sports. As 11, what can I do? You have far surpassed. And as an example, when George Floyd was murdered, Maxie, as a sports reporter, went to the news director and said, send me into the heart of it. Send me into the worst part of it. And they scoffed at that idea. But they needed the bodies, and they sent them. And to this day, after a career in journalism, watching every kind of reporting that you could possibly imagine, the best reporting during that tumultuous period, done by any channel, by any reporter, national or local, was done by this sports guy who knew how to talk to people. Our proudest moment, Maxie, I have to tell you, watching you on television, my goodness, God bless you. Jim Ray Erickson, who my radio career would have been dismal, thank you for everything you gave me and done for me. To all of my friends who are here and the people who are yet to be my friends, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up. And I hope with the time that I have remaining, I can still do so good. And if you need help, I'm available. Dan Rather used to say, because Dan was a Marine before he became the reporter covering for the Dallas local station the assassination of JFK. Tough guy. But he would always say to those he loved, if you ever need anyone to go to hell and back, call me first. You have my number. Thank you.
When the George Floyd riots got over, I called Don. I said, can I come and sit down with you at your house for a minute? Because he was the only one that I knew that would have any understanding, because he knew what I had seen. What I had seen was humanity. It wasn't reporting, it was what I had seen. And I remember I went over there that day and we went out the porch, and we both just started crying. And I remember I got home that night, my wife said, I went over to see Don Shelby. She said, what did you do? I said, we sat and cried. And she didn't get it because she didn't know what I meant. And that's why I needed to go see Don. Because Don knew exactly what the city was feeling at that time. And I needed to be with somebody that understood that. He did give me a B- on my first written assignment when he was a professor at the University of St. Thomas. And at the bottom it just said, I expect more from you.
Ah, great.
And I never quit trying to give him more.
Wow.
We continue today. I want to welcome Myra Belkin and Act Two recovery. Meyer was a very unique story to tell you about the impact of our 30-day foundation and Act Two recovery are linked in a lot of different ways. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome